How's everybody doing today? Go ahead and leave a 1 in the chat box if you're super excited. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes for everybody to get in. I know I'm running a couple of minutes late. I actually messed up on my computer and had to restart. So we got some exciting stuff for today. It's actually going to kind of hit you by surprise. The surprise actually isn't necessarily for you guys. It's for one particular person that's on this webinar, and they don't even know about it yet. But it's going to be fun. Just give it a couple more minutes and we'll go ahead and get started. We're only a couple minutes into this. Eric, yeah, you do like surprises. Who else is here? I want to know everybody that's inside the webinar. Leave a comment. Okay, guys, so basically what I had planned today completely fell through the floor. I had something really awesome planned, and I was going to announce something to you guys, and it didn't quite work out. So I kind of decided to do a little bit of a surprise for everybody, and not necessarily for you, but more for somebody else that's on this webinar right now, and they don't know it yet, but they're about to. So basically what I had planned, I'll talk a little bit more towards the end of the webinar. I am going to be taking volunteers here pretty shortly for you to talk. But Eric, yeah, you like surprises. Well, I'm going to go ahead and surprise you. You're coming on the webinar. So accept the invite and get on here. Eric, don't leave us hanging or I'll have to throw Rich on. So there we go. Eric, what is going on?
Good. How are you, Jake?
Did I surprise you?
Yeah, you did.
Good. Yeah, come on, Eric.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. What's going on, Jake?
Eric.
I see you're back home.
I am home. I just made it home last night, and I got home today, and I was working on something that I was going to release for everybody today, and it didn't quite work out. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit more at the end of the webinar. But Eric, I want you to talk about some of the stuff that you learned in the boot camp a couple weeks back. So just talk to people, let them know what you learned, and I'm open for anybody else that wants to come on and talk. Anybody who has any input, go ahead and just shoot a message in the chat box. And after Eric's done, I'm going to make him talk for at least an hour and a half. So after Eric's done, you guys can go ahead and come on after that. But yeah, Eric, you're on for an hour and a half.
All right, awesome. As far as the Think Outside the Box bootcamp, I would say, and just a little bit of background, like I've been part of other courses, a lot of other courses, not just in ecom. Recently, I've been a part of a lot of courses in ecom. Actually, Jake's bootcamp was the one that really helped me out get a really positive start and be profitable, because otherwise I was going to be spending, actually probably throwing a lot of money down the drain on ads and things that weren't working. So Jake and actually Peter was helping me out in the Think Outside the Box bootcamp. And the biggest thing I think that they helped me with that's really different than any of the other courses out there is really thinking about ecom, not just as a short-term strategy, but as a real long-term strategy, and really setting up the whole foundation of your business to really hit those, the bigger numbers, the really high 6-figure, 7-figure, and even beyond numbers. And the thought process and the planning that kind of, is involved in it's a little bit different than just kind of the standard, put up some free plus shipping items and just do some, Ali drop shipping like everybody knows about. It goes a little bit more in depth into, again, just kind of setting up things a little bit differently on the website to have that perception and to really set yourself up to be head and shoulders above the competition. So I don't know if that answers that question, Jake, but yeah, I mean, I learned a lot in the Think Outside the Bootcamp as far as a lot of the nuts and bolts too. So it's a lot of nuts and bolts for people that are beginning ecom, like as far as if you just need to get your store up and running, but then it's also the advanced stuff or things I didn't really think about as far as like setting up a whole brand. So yeah.
Yeah, Eric, you talk way too fast. Your hour and a half isn't up. Basically, what you're doing here is, Eric, I really like the overview you gave to everybody. You said this is really cool. I want you to actually teach some people some stuff that you learned. You want to teach some people some stuff that you learned?
Okay. What did you learn? What kind of things
that you can actually teach? Well, what strategies, what things did you learn during the boot camp that can take with you, or that you took with you afterwards that you still remember?
Well, I don't know if I could share my screen or do anything like that. Actually, a lot of my ads, I've been kind of shutting some of my ads down and doing a lot of experiments. So right now I can go through kind of what I've been doing to find products and run more experiments.
You can also give people advice what to do when your Facebook account gets hacked.
Okay, yeah. So I had a couple of different interesting things that happened. So I was definitely selling some products, but then my Facebook account got hacked, and what had happened is like, I don't ever search for on Facebook, by the way, don't ever search for like Facebook support help or Facebook customer service phone number, because every single phone number that comes up as like an SEO and it looks really nice, it looks really legit, all of those are fake, they're bogus. And so as far as calling those numbers, whenever you call them, and some of them, there's a couple of numbers that route to the same office. I got the same guy a couple of times, but there's this guy in India, and I ended up talking to this guy for quite some time actually, and it took me a while to figure out that this guy was not legit, I guess. But anyway, he was asking for like $200. He's like, just pay me $200, you'll be fine. We'll unlock your account. And I'm like, okay, so, what's the $200 for? And he says, well, it's because you did some things on your account that were a little bit fraudulent, like they're fraudulent, or they came off as fraudulent. It put off a red flag. So there's like, because of that, you got to pay a penalty charge of $200. So that's when, the red flag went off, and I was like, okay, that's something's up. And anyway, long story short, what ended up happening is I had to verify some of my account activity, and actually my identity itself. So I sent in some utility paperwork and then some of the license information, and then that's what ended up. Yeah, I saw Josh said $200. I don't know what it was, who these guys are exactly. I'm sure they're in India. I'm sure they're a bunch of scammers, but they're really quick to take your credit card information. Like that's all they were pushing for. And that's another thing that was kind of odd, is just, that's all they cared about. They're like, just give me $200. And actually, when I got on the phone the second time, I called back. I called a different number, and it routed me to that same support line. That's the only reason why I kind of was like, wait, is this legit? Because I called it, I Google searched a different number, and the SEO comes up. So it's like big and bold. It looks like it's a legit like phone number, and it says Facebook like on the top there. And so I call that phone number, and it's the same department. I can hear the people in the background, and I noticed like it was the same department. It was like the same scammer group. And he's like, yeah, the other guy told me 200. He's like, oh wait, 200? And that was also another thing that was a little bit weird, is he was just like, I don't know what kind of scam they're in. Like, I don't know if they're normal amounts like 200 or 500, but I guess they scam, they get a lot of people off. So yeah.
The funniest part about the whole situation is that Eric had to call me to pay him $200 or not.
Yeah, I had to check. I was like, Jake, is this normal? Because I don't know, but yeah, I didn't do that.
He's like, should I just give them the $200 so they give me my account back? I was like, no, that's not what you do. Do not give them $200. Yeah. Anyways, with that being said, that was a good story about your Facebook account's getting hacked. Don't open any emails that look suspicious, things like that, because it can happen. But with that all being said, I want you, Eric, to talk about some of the key strategies that you use now that you did not use before.
Okay.
It can be as far as product research, as far as running Facebook ads, as far as anything. I don't care. You got the wheel, man.
Okay, so as far as specific stuff, I think the biggest thing was just kind of having a roadmap or a strategy to run my ads off of, and to do the experiments like I was saying. And so I didn't really know what was good, what was bad. I didn't have something to compare it against. So there was a couple of differences in website conversion ads versus PPE ads. So in PPE ads, for example, I know, Jake, you taught you try to shoot for like a cost per click of under about 30 cents and a per post engagement of about 8 to 10 cents. And so that was huge, because otherwise before that I was kind of just shooting around in the dark. I'm still, I'm still learning a lot, but I was just brand new, as green as it could get when I was first starting and with the boot camp. But that really helped me kind of find out which campaigns to even focus on. And so what I actually been doing, and this might sound a little bit extreme to some other people, but I just, like the other day I launched like 9 products. I've been trying to keep up on this, rate. I don't do it every day, but I try to launch at least an average, I guess. I've been holding about 4 or 5 products, new products, and I'll see how they run for a couple of days and see if they kind of fit within that criteria. And that's actually what I'm doing right now. I actually launched a whole bunch of products over this last weekend. And so, yeah, that's kind of what's helped me out a lot on the post-page engagement. And it's the same thing with video views. So on the video ads, I'll do the same thing with the video views. I'll kind of just make sure it's within that criteria. And then also those are good ways to just test really quickly if the product is something that's good, something that's hot, something that matches with the audience. And then if it is, then what I'm doing is I'm actually in the process of changing a couple of my PPE ads into website conversion ads. So this is just a way that I was able to test a lot of products really quick, just kind of with a smaller budget, if that makes sense. And so I have a bigger budget that I'm going to be working with here really soon. And so I'm going to be doing a different strategy, again, that you kind of talked about more of, Jake, but then this strategy has really helped me out with just kind of being able to test a lot of products very quickly, see which ones are working, and then going into website conversion. So I did that for a watch, for example. And so it's like $49 instead of, just these free press shipping items. So yeah, it's helped me out a lot.
What else did we learn about Facebook ads that has recently changed, where everybody's telling you to do it some way, but now we're doing it a little bit different?
Oh, yeah. And so like before, and I know a lot of the big guys in e-commerce, a lot of the other people out there, the coaches, before, like they would tell you how to do flex targeting, and it's not just the other coaches. It's just what was working in Facebook was really targeted audiences where you'd go really small, you know, really tight niche audiences. But now you want to go more broad, and I find that that is what's working. So to test, like for example, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but definitely, you know, like under 100,000 is too small. Like it seems like, for sure. And I'm not an expert in this, but I've actually tested a couple that were smaller than that, and they just don't really do well. But at least over 100. But I would say, like, really to start off a campaign, you should really go in like 1 million or more. And so that was definitely something I learned. I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about, Jake, but as far as the Facebook ads go, yeah, just kind of starting off a little bit more broad, seeing what works, you know, going back in to your ads, and then, you know, breaking it down by day, you know, by gender, by age group, and just really kind of seeing, you know, what's working, and then going ahead and then optimizing that ad. But, you know, you don't want to do that.
We don't want these really small audiences anymore. Facebook's actually preferring the bigger audiences, and they're getting better at finding people that are going to buy your items out of those bigger audiences. Because when you have these smaller audiences and you're trying to target them, and Facebook, you're using your purchase pixel or you're using something like that, that just cut your audience down to a really small amount off of people that Facebook thinks might purchase. But when your audience is a lot bigger, they have a lot more people to choose through. So if you have an audience of 100,000 people and there's only 1,000 buyers in there, you're going to burn through your audience, and your CPM is going to be through the roof. So we really stress that we're aiming for bigger audiences now, and Facebook is favoring that, and you're getting lower CPMs and cheaper advertising.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been noticing that, and then like on website conversion, I still got to run a lot of tests for website conversion. I don't have enough data to actually say anything conclusive on that, but what I have been kind of doing, I guess, or experimenting with is I did a lot of video. I started off with picture ads, and that's what I learned first. But then I've been starting to do a lot of video. And if you guys haven't used the Quick app, it's a great app. It's QUIK, and I just make almost all of my advertisements do that now. And so I just make videos. I post them up, and a couple of the products, like I've noticed, like for example, like a ring. Okay, a ring, for example, there's actually a whole article I read on this, and they split tested. There's a whole big agency, and they do like big e-commerce companies like Target and stuff, and like Nordstrom's. But they were splits testing like the product image, and you know what's more valuable and what actually has a higher perceived value. And it was actually interesting, like things that are really like complex that require like a lot of specifications, you know, like computers and laptops. It's actually good to have a really big blown up image. But what they found is that, like, for example, if you're going and you're selling something that's just like, you know, they can just see it real quick, and something like a jewelry item or something that's just really just eye candy, you know, eye candy like items, it actually helps for the image to be smaller. So that was a really big surprise to me, that the perceived value actually goes up when you do that. And so that's a long way of saying I tested ads. I tested picture ads versus video ads for the same product. And the picture ads for some products actually work a lot better. And I don't know if this is 100% yet, because I just started doing this, but I found out that the rings, they were actually performing better with the picture ad versus the video ad, for example. So I don't know. That's just starting to test that. I don't know if that's anything that's 100% or if that's going to be, you know, something that turns out to be true, but yeah. Have you done anything like that, Jake? Have you tested that, like the same product and in different spaces, like particularly like jewelry, where like a video works better than picture or anything like that?
Of course. I mean, anything that you can test and change, I mean, you're going to have different results. Sometimes videos are going to be better. Sometimes pictures are going to be better. It really depends on what is going to make somebody click on your video to watch it. Because at the end of the day, people have to click on your video to watch it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not auto streaming as they're scrolling through. People are clicking on your video to watch it. Yes, video views are very cheap, but video views don't convert as well.
Yeah.
But there is that fine line where if you can get a video that's going viral and has its own traction, will be a lot cheaper and you'll get a lot more conversions for a lot less of a price. But with that being said, there's still just normal picture. I mean, you can just use a normal picture and people are still making money with it. I'm still doing it. I still do videos. I do all of it. I actually have this marketing strategy that I came up with that is actually going to be released in something that I'm talking about at the end of this. Don't worry, guys, though. I'm not making him talk about the boot camp because I'm going to try to sell the boot camp again. I'll never do that again. That was terrible.
The boot camp was awesome, but I don't know what you mean by terrible, but probably like the little sleep you got, like the 2-3 hours. Jake was up like every day, just like on the call with people. To try to frontline coach that many people, that's probably what you mean by that. But yeah, I don't know how you did it. I probably wouldn't have tried to do the same thing. Yeah. And then like Peter was like there halfway through it, right? And not there a couple of days. So yeah.
No, it was fun. We had a lot of fun doing it. It was intense though, and it was a lot of talking on the phone. A lot of it, and it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. I actually really loved it. It was just a little bit too much, and I didn't get much sleep, and I didn't have anything else I could do in my life during that week. But what else you got, Eric? I mean, is that all you learned in the boot camp?
No, and then as far as like scaling, and not just scaling, but just knowing which ads to turn on and off. Actually, I had I had my biggest day when I got on the phone to do some coaching, and when we went through like my ads and my tracking and just having everything set up the right way is key. So like I know that's kind of just like super fundamental. So the guys that have it set up, well, good. The ones that don't, make sure you have it set up. It's very, very important to know whether you're getting sales and where your engagement's coming from. But so once I had that set up, I knew which ones to turn on, which ones to turn off. I actually had turned off a couple of ads that just by turning those ones back on, I had my biggest day. Like I remember I had made more sales in that one day than I did like the week before. And so that was pretty good. And it was just from having, one simple phone call and learning which ads to turn on and off, just having that framework like are going through with the PPE ads. So, yep.
Exactly. He really summed up my entire training, the 7-day thing. Really short, didn't he? It kind of makes it sound bad. It's like, oh, well,
I didn't even know I was doing this. Jake really is surprising me. No, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know what kind of questions that you guys have, because I'm actually looking at the chat bar. So like if you guys had any specific questions about like the boot camp or anything that I did learn or anything that you guys were curious about, I'd be more than happy to answer any of those questions. But I mean, it's not anything that I really could go over in, even in a short call like this, because for something like, the boot camp, so if you're familiar, there's a lot of, there's a lot of people teaching e-commerce, there's a lot of things that you can resources that you can find. The setup itself is like an hour for the store, but like you learn how to do the setup, the exact things that you should be doing. So for example, when you set up your store properly and you get the tracking set up, there's a couple of features in the back that, that's going to make a difference of whether or not you're going to be able to capture email lists properly and an audience on the back end. And it's going to make the difference of being able to really generate the proper revenue you should be making. And it will make the difference between making or breaking a whole campaign, just to have that extra, sale or two at the end that adds up to maybe an extra, 15, 20, 30% on your bottom line. And, I'm talking about like, retargeting apps and just making sure that all of these things are set up correctly. And also like the emails, the email campaigns to reach out to your customers. And that's actually another thing that I got to go back because I didn't have just one store, I have two. And I don't recommend this for anybody to just jump in and launch 2 stores. I did that during the boot camp. And so when Jake says it was intense, like it was definitely intense. Like I had my store and I was making that profitable. And at the same time, I had another store launched Yeah, actually in that same week time. So now what I'm doing is everything that's working on that first store, I'm just going ahead and applying it over into the second store. And a lot of those things is like, so the emails, making sure that those are set up properly. There's a couple of other apps that you can use that really help, not just with your campaigns themselves, but with the social media. So, I learned how to set up, I'm familiar with social media. I'm sure a lot of you guys have set up pages and things like that before. So not that, but, just kind of how to think about the social media strategy and what you need to do as far as, what works with e-commerce, because there's a lot of things that, you could just like post up on social media and it's not going to really bring you results, but the actual strategy behind it, exactly, what you need to be doing to schedule. Like, for example, you want to be scheduling the content on not just the one platform, but there's other platforms out there. So, we talked about Pinterest being one of the hugest, it's actually, I think it's the largest, right? So it's the largest platform out there right now for buyers. And when they look for ideas, as far as just shopping ideas or what they're going to buy or planning, like especially for like weddings or like events like that. So Pinterest is a huge traffic source.
I have a question I want to answer here for Al real quick. He's asking, I think I saw it a little bit before from somebody else as well, is free plus shipping still good, or would you recommend retail with free shipping? Honestly, free plus shipping is always going to work, because as soon as people start thinking it stops working and they slow down on it, then it starts working again. So it's never going to stop. You can still use it. The profit margins are not as good as retail. When you're doing free plus shipping, you're going for volume. You're not going for, I'm going to make 4 or 5 sales a day. You're going for, I'm going to make 600 or 700 sales a day. But in my personal opinion, free plus shipping is a great way to start, but you can also do other things like it's $10 with free shipping, and that works as well. But the whole free plus shipping really gets people excited, and they're clicking on your site and getting them to your store. That's the whole importance of Facebook ads, because even in any scenario, the whole objective, yes, you want people to purchase, but when you're running an ad, if they click on your site, that's a win. Because then you can retarget them. You can hit them from every angle. You can hit them from Google. You can hit them from Facebook. You can hit them from Instagram. You can start retargeting them all over the place. You want to get their email address. I mean, hitting your website's the first step. Getting their emails the second. So basically what we do when we do free plus shipping stuff is I get a ton of people to click on my websites. I get a ton of emails, and I make a lot of sales. Is it a majority of the, is the income better? No, it's not better, because I'm taking really small profit margins and there's a lot of work involved behind it. But those are the steps you take. I mean, you go from getting them on your site first, getting their email, warming them up, selling them. You very rarely have somebody that just clicks on your site and impulse buys. I know everybody always says impulse buyers, that's what we're looking for. Yes, you will have impulse buyers, but there's not enough of them in the world to feed all of us. So we do have to take proper strategies in selling on e-commerce. Is it okay to start selling free plus shipping and then change the store to a retail store? I always will have a retail store on the front end and free plus shipping on the back end. So that's how I do it anyways. But you can't turn off your camera now, Eric, because I was about to shut off my camera and let you take it back over. You got to unmute yourself.
Take what over? All right.
This is your teaching session.
Who's on the webinar? What do you want to? What other than free plus shipping? Okay, so the free plus shipping, to kind of get more on that, I've been testing a few free plus shipping. A lot of the tests I've been doing recently are retail. The reason why is because I have free plus shipping items that I've already been making money off of, and then now I'm finding retail products to then test out to both two things: the audience that was working for those free plus shipping items, and then also the list. So that's what I'm going back to do right now. And as far as free plus shipping, I don't know. I'm sure, like, Jake, he's saying like it always works, and I'm sure you can always find a way. There's always going to be some product that you can find with the right angle to make free plus shipping work. I've seen free plus shipping, like, the common range, being in $7 to $11. But I was looking at a magazine, and it's not uncommon, for people to pay higher than that even. for shipping. So don't, think outside the box a little bit. And like, there's people that will pay even higher than that, like even 24.95 for shipping and handling.
I'm guilty.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was an ad on Facebook for, I can't remember who was selling their book. Somebody had a book and they're like, oh, my books, I'm giving my book away for free. And then I clicked on the link and it's like, just pay $24.95 for shipping. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But I paid it anyway. I was like, I want the book. I'll pay $25 for it. And that brings me to the question, who thinks that Eric has actually read all the books on his bookshelf, or he just has them there for decoration?
Actually, that's funny that you say that. The big ones, the big fat ones, the House of Morgan, I haven't read that one yet, and Titan, but all the other ones I have, except for the two at the end. Those are the ones I'm starting to read. So, yeah. I actually have a couple of those up there. Those were all my old network marketing days. Yeah, so I have a couple of audio programs, sales programs. And those were the programs. Like, I've bought like over 60 paid programs, and it wasn't like all in the internet marketing space, like sales programs, real estate programs. So like, I know when people are, when they know what they're talking about. And that's why I was so impressed with, the stuff that Jake teaches. And it comes to a point where, at the end of the day, you just really care if your bank account gets larger. And now it's pretty cool. Like, I didn't experience this before. I'm still pretty new to this internet thing, but it's awesome when you just wake up and, your bank account, it's not reds, it's greens. So like you got things coming into your bank account, and it happens, just every day now, cause I got Shopify payments being dispatched into my account every day. And it's awesome to see the account actually go up, and even, once the thing is like, I was spending more money on ads. And right now by choice, I'm testing a lot. So right now I still am. But if you look at the ones that are my campaigns themselves, I'm profitable on my campaigns. And that's the thing, is that I was spending way too much money on things that weren't working. But now what I'm doing is I'm spending only the money on the ads that are working, and I'm testing new products. And for example, like I had this one product up, and my profit, so it's $49.95. And on Ollie, I think I can get it. I think it was $13.60. I gotta double check on the price. But I put a $5 ad on it. I got a sale on that the first day, so it made up for all of the other ads I was testing for that day. And that's the benefit. Like if I found anything, like if I can give any piece of advice for anybody that's starting off, I don't know what stage you guys are at or anything like that, but if I could give you guys a piece of advice, it's quicker is better. Like faster is better. More in a shorter period of time is better in almost every situation. Like I'm literally limited to the number of hours in a day because I'm just still learning stuff, and I'm still trying to just put these things together. But I'm literally spending every single hour, every single minute of time I can to just upload more products and do more targeting, and just monitor them a little bit better, and also replying to comments on the ads, because that also helps. I don't know if you've heard of EdgeRank, but it's like I know Jake has, but I don't know if the people on Facebook that do Facebook have heard of EdgeRank, but it's like Facebook's protocol to determine which posts to show, and it helps to have like higher engagement and comments. So like it's something that's really, really time consuming. You don't want to spend too much time on it, right? In the very beginning, to pull you away from uploading new products. But whenever you have an extra minute or two, and you just, you're on a webinar like this, and you're not the one talking, and you're not the one, talking on the webinar, answering questions that Jake has, then yeah, what you should be doing is you should be like doing comments, and you should be commenting back on all of the products that you have ads on. So that way it creates higher engagement, put smiley face, thank you, I appreciate the shares, things like that. And so I can't put like a direct number on it, but I know that maybe it's just a good feeling. I don't know. But it has higher. Yeah, it does help, right? Right. Yeah.
Basically, what it does is it gives your business legitimacy. People don't think it's an automated thing. People like to feel welcomed, and when you're responding to their emails, especially if you have a page that has thousands of likes on it, and they think, "Oh, apply to my comment on this post," and then they have a completely different mindset when it comes to purchasing from you. And with that being said, Brandon said that you use the books to get the ladies. If that's the case, do I need to fill up my bookshelf? Mine looks a little empty over here.
Yeah. Well, Jake's the one with a lady. He's married. I'm single, so yeah, that wouldn't work there. Yeah. No, I definitely. It's funny that you mentioned the books. I had about half of that bookshelf set up. I have 3 full book shelf. Half of them are in boxes because I was just moving recently, but I do have these up here on purpose for perception. So it's shitty perception in my view, because I've seen other people's rooms. They got like whole Ty Lopez, for example. Yeah, you guys have seen Ty Lopez, so it's not Ty Lopez's thing, but yeah, I've had a lot of people comment on it, even just a few books. So like, what I could do is I could do this and just show you like my really old school, sliding glass mirror, or I can kind of just show you my, my project planner and my books, and it actually helps. I do consulting for somebody that, if I mentioned, you guys would probably know the name, but I do some coaching and consulting calls for somebody that's a really high, he's a really high paid, really young internet marketing consultant. And yeah, he just talks about that. Like, it makes a big difference. It actually translates to higher closing percentages just to have a background like that, just with a couple extra books or something that they relate with. Snap Rich is that guy that you had on there the other day, Jake. Like, I know he's all about NLP, and they're all about that. Just having like Star Wars or Batman. There's a lot of top people online. If they have like a photograph, or if they have like a really recognizable like movie poster or something behind you, and it's not just a blank wall, it's on purpose. They're not doing that.
Exactly. They want. I'm still waiting on my Yoda hat.
Yeah. There you go.
Rich actually gave me a photo of me wearing a Yoda hat that he photoshopped or did something for me with it. That was kind of cool. But I haven't done anything with it. I need to go back. I don't even remember if I saved it, Rich. I may have to have you send that to me again. I know he's on here. Rich comes to every webinar. I may actually have you speak next, Rich. Let me know you're on here, Rich. I know you are.
Oh yeah, just grab them. Just pull them on.
Oh, okay, Rich. Okay.
So is everybody on the webinar? They're all running e-commerce stores right now. Like, what's the?
I believe most people on this particular webinar are interested in e-commerce, or they are running e-commerce.
Okay.
At the moment, I haven't. I know a lot of you guys probably know I've started a new group that's not only e-commerce. It's called Funnel Crushers.
Yeah.
Rich is on here with us as well. Rich, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot.
Rich was in the boot camp as well. Rich, did I surprise you? Did you think I was going to bring you on here?
I kind of figured you would.
Rich knows.
Well. Bring anybody that was on here that was in the boot camp. So.
What could you tell us, Rich, about the boot camp that really impacted your way of thinking about e-commerce versus what you did in the past?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think that I had been taught by the wrong people previously. And, just if you have bad mentors, you have people that are teaching you the wrong things, or they don't know what they're talking about, then, you kind of don't have a good firm understanding of things. And so when you do have somebody that knows what they're talking about and can give you good information, then it definitely helps you to succeed. And I think that that's what I felt like with going through the boot camp. I mean, it gave me a lot of good information, and kind of like what Eric was saying. I mean, there were a lot of things where that you had ads that I should never have quit. I should never have stopped the ads, or some that I should have started. But it's figuring out by going through all the stats and all the information that you get from running ads, and using that to continue to say, do I need to keep running this, or do I need to quit it? And I think that was the biggest thing I got out of it. There were a few ads that I quit way too early just because I wasn't getting sales at first, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to spend money. And when I figured out, okay, let it, let it run for a while longer and let, Facebook have a chance to do what it does, then with its algorithm, then, you can eventually start getting some sales. And, I actually did get some sales from that and continue to get sales to this day from those same ads, just because I turned them back on and, let them do what they need to do.
Tell everybody what you told me after you got off the phone with Peter.
Oh man, Peter kicked my butt. He, there was a lot of stuff that we talked about, but I think it was, that he really just told me, you need to, kind of don't be lazy, just, you got to look at, your targeting, you got to do all these things, but you got to, really focus on it and really dig in and figure out exactly what you need to, the people you need to target, and, don't just, do it halfway and just, throw things out there and hope something sticks. It's, if you do your research to figure out who your audience is, then, that goes a long way as far as, putting ads out there and getting results.
Exactly. What else did you take away from that? I know that we went over your ads and Peter went over them, and we were looking at things and we're like, Rich, why did you shut this off? It was like you were making sales, you were making money. Why'd you shut? Well, and it mostly came down to you didn't know the data. You didn't know how to read the data properly.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you didn't know how to read the data.
Yeah. And, and that's something now that I do all the time. And, it's, by having people that teach you the right things and say, this is what you need to look for and you need to, be checking these things and not just, throwing something out there and putting a bunch of money and hoping it, you make some money from it. If you know what you're looking for in the data that you're getting, even if you spend, $50, $100 or more on, running ads, even if you don't make any sales, you're still getting the data. You're still seeing, okay, who is interested in this, in this product, who's engaging, with the PPE ads, especially, you find out, is it, male or female? Is it, what age groups are interested in it? And then you can target specifically to those to get your ad costs down. But, it's definitely worth it to, even though it may be hard to spend that money and not get anything in return as far as monetary, you still get, a lot in return as far as the data that you can look at and plan forward with that data.
Awesome, Rich. I love to hear that. Rich is looking for data now. He's paying for data. He's not paying for sales. Which, in the beginning, that's basically what you're doing. You can't expect to spend $5 and become a millionaire. That's not how this game works. And a lot of people have been misled, and they've been taught, and they're scared. And they're like, I don't know. Somebody told me I could start with $20. Well, if you're using Shopify, you can't even start with Shopify for $20. I think it's like the minimum is like 27 or something, isn't it, Rich? 27,
yeah.
$29.
Yeah, 29, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have a little bit of money to invest, and don't invest your last dollars in it because it's not guaranteed you're going to make any money off of it.
Exactly.
So you really want to make sure you have some extra money off to the side to make it happen with.
And I think that was something that, in the boot camp especially, that, that what you drilled home to us is it's like, you're not trying to make a quick buck and, you're not just throwing stuff out there just to make some money real quick and then, that's the end. I mean, you're trying to build a business. You're trying to build something that's going to have long-term earning potential. And so you got to, do up front what you need to do to make it long-term. So, if you're, just throwing stuff out there and hoping something will stick without knowing, getting that data, without researching the data and knowing what to look for, then, you're just throwing your money away.
Exactly. And as far as building businesses, guys, yeah, like I said a while back, I know a lot of you guys are new to me. Some of you guys don't know who I am. Some of you guys are like, this guy Jake's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Stuff like this. But your store is only one part of your business. Your email lists, your Facebook fan pages, your Instagram pages, all these are assets to your business. So these all form your business. The only thing your website is a point of sale. When you're building an online business, you have your email list, you have all your social media accounts, you have all this, and then in the background, you actually have, yeah. Eric, I know my camera's off. I haven't decided to turn it back on yet because I'm chilling in my chair. But basically, we're trying to build a business. If you're not on Snapchat, first of all, you're missing out. Even if you watched the Snapchat training last week, you didn't buy, or a couple weeks ago, and you didn't buy the training, who cares? Get into Snapchat anyway. Their training, all that was just to try to give you a little kickstart into knowing how to do it. You can still figure this stuff out. I didn't use Snapchat very much until I started listening to people, and people were like, "Oh, Snapchat." I was like, "How do you even use Snapchat to make money?" Well, lately we've been sending out emails and stuff with our Snap code on it and saying, "Add us on Snapchat for 20% off." There's a coupon code, so we put our story with a 20% off coupon or a 15% off coupon, so people have to add us on Snapchat to get the coupon. And people are willing to go get on their phones, put in our Snap code or scan our Snap code in order to get that coupon, and then going back and putting it in the store. So you're making people work a little bit more, but when they work a little bit more for something, they're more likely to buy it. Because they're like, I've already gotten this far. You've already got them used to saying, yes, I'm going to go to Snapchat. Yes, I'm going to use a coupon code. Yes, I'm going to get back on the computer. I'm going to go back to the store. I'm going to find more products to buy because this coupon code's only good one time, so I better buy as much as I can type of mindset. And if all you're out there for is to just promote a free plus shipping offer, that's not going to get you to the world and back. You're not going to retire off of one free plus shipping offer or two free plus shipping offers. You want to build a business. If you're using free plus shipping, you're using it to build a business around. I know a lot of people in the past, for quick money, they say, do a free plus shipping offer and throw a bunch of dummy items around it and just run ads to that. Yes, that's a good way to do things. But make sure they're related products so people can buy other things. People can do more stuff. And Eric wants to talk now. He's raising his hand, so I'm going to go ahead and let Eric talk for a second.
No, I was raising my hand saying that was me. That was me just dumping the products in there and, yeah, just hoping something would stick. But that's definitely not the way to do it. You want to have targeted traffic in mind, obviously. It kind of goes without saying now, I guess, but yeah, you don't want to just be throwing stuff up and seeing what sticks. Back to you, Jake.
Back to Rich. Rich is the star of the hour now. Rich, you're our teacher. This is your first coaching session.
Great. What I would suggest, though, as far as, with Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, I mean, you got to get stuff out there. There are so many programs that you can use that will, automatically post for you. You can, spend one evening going through and, putting all sorts of posts and have them scheduled out. And, like there's, one program I use and I have like the next month planned out. There's 4 posts every single day for the next month. And, I just set it to run and I forget about it. And I don't have to worry about, oh, what am I going to post tomorrow on my, my fan page on Facebook? And, it keeps going and keeps going. And then that gets engagement because people see those things and, and it builds on that. And, you get people, more and more people that see those, those posts that, are related to your niche, then more people will actually see your ads for free as well because they're, trying to pay attention to, what the other stuff that you're posting up there.
Exactly, and that's what I try to tell people all the time. The more automation you can have in your business, the better. And the reason behind this is computers just keep getting faster, guys, and we just keep slowing down. We're not getting any faster. We get tired. We forget about things. Computers, they'll just keep running. They're going to keep posting. They're going to keep doing what they're told to do. So they're going to keep doing it over and over again. So I know Rich implemented, he started using some software to post posts all the time, basically to replace himself so he doesn't have to go post on his page, which is great because posting on your page is boring. You don't want to have to post on your page every few hours. That's not something that is enjoyable, I would say anyway. Sorry, Rich, I'll let you get back to talking.
Oh no, you're fine. I use Post Planner is the name of the software, and I started using that just because it looked pretty easy, but also the thing that I liked about it was that you could do a search with the software to see other things that people posted with with that same keyword, or you can look at other people's other fan pages and see what they've posted, and then basically share it on your page, and it would count as a post. And so you can look through, and there's just you can just pick and choose whatever stuff that other people have posted and post it on yours, and then add your own content in as well. But then the mass planner is kind of what I'm trying to learn right now. But that's quite a handful, as Jake can attest to. But yeah,
Mass planner's hard, guys. It's not really that hard. Once you get used to it, there's a lot of videos to watch and there's a lot of figuring out to do. But once you get it down, mass planner's great. Mass planner's awesome. I mean, it does a lot of things that can replace yourself. It'll like posts. It'll follow people on Instagram. It'll unfollow people on Instagram. It'll automatically add you to groups. It'll do all kinds of really cool stuff. So mass planner is definitely something that I would recommend to just about anybody.
Yeah, and I mean, like Post Planner, I think it's like $9.99 a month or something, and then I think Mass Planner is $9.99 as well. So it's pretty cheap for continuing to run your business and getting more people in.
Yes, yeah, Mass Planner is only like $10 a month, and I've never used Post Planner before. I might have to check it out.
Yeah, well, the main difference between Post Planner and Mass Planner, you can do so many different ones. I believe you can do Instagram, you can do Twitter, you can do Facebook. I think there's some with Pinterest you can do as well, and then they have add-ons, to do other things. But Post Planner is basically just for Facebook, but it's it's very easy and simple to use, and then even with if you set up a schedule, as it runs through the ones that you've already scheduled, it keeps them, and then you can just add them back to the end of the list. And so if you have like a month or two of planned out, you can just add them, and it'll mix them up so that they're not running in the same exact order. But then you have 2 or 3 months more, and you just keep adding stuff, and it can go on forever without too much more effort.
Exactly, and a lot of these things will recycle posts. So once you've done a few hundred of them, you can just set it to recycle, because nobody's going to remember what you posted a couple hundred days ago or a month ago. Really, I mean, you can recycle this stuff so it keeps going over and over and over again, and keeps building up these fan pages and gets them bigger, because those are assets, and they're not only assets that are going to make you money; they're assets you can sell in the future. People will pay big money for big fan pages, and when I say big money, I mean like people will pay thousands of dollars. I've seen people pay, I mean, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 for social media pages before. And sometimes it's not always people, sometimes it's companies, sometimes it's individuals. I mean, but these are assets that you're building up, and you can build them up 100% free using software like this. So I don't see a reason why not to do it.
Exactly. But as far as some of the other things, I mean, that I've been doing is, I've been trying to start out running PPE ads, and basically using the data from that, and the results I'm getting from that to say, okay, is that am I getting good targeting with this audience? Where if my cost per engagement is really low, then I know that my targeting is right, and the product is right, because people like the product, and I'm matching up the product to the audience. And then once I see that is working with that particular audience, then relaunch it as a as a WC, and maybe trim it down a little bit for to try to get the best results, because if there's a lot of people that aren't engaging in it in a certain certain age group, or maybe if I have it set for mobile and desktop and Instagram, and I'm just not getting any results from some of those other things, maybe I'll just totally do mobile, just because that's where all my traffic is coming from, and where everybody seems to be engaging from. But and then And then once, with the WC, if it starts running and, I see that I'm starting to make sales with it, on a daily basis, then, copy that into a new campaign with running another WC and, with the same audience with a bigger budget. And, something I had actually just started doing was, I had been running $5 ads, and I had one that was running pretty successfully, getting sales for me every day, and so I copied that and turned it into a $25 daily ad, and so far I've been making sales on that as well, like 2 or 3 sales a day from that over the last couple of days. So, but yeah, it's definitely just testing and testing, and just trying to figure out who exactly wants the product that you're trying to sell, and putting it in front of them so that they have the opportunity to buy it, and then retargeting to them just to keep putting it in front of them.
Absolutely, and that's what Rich has been saying, testing, testing, testing. What was one of the really key things that I pushed on everybody throughout the training, where it wasn't necessarily learning, it wasn't necessarily anything else? What did it come down to, Rich?
Testing.
Testing. But what do we mean by testing? Action taking.
Action. Yes, exactly. Just keep
action.
Keep doing doing things. Always try to keep yourself busy with something. Don't just sit back and hope that you're going to make money off of it. You got to keep looking at the data, keep looking at your ads. Try different things so that because you never know. 5 things may not work, but that 6th thing may blow up and be huge. And so you just got to keep doing it.
And everybody from the boot camp is going to have already seen this. A lot of people will have seen that, but I think this video I'm about to show you is actually a really good video, and it's something that people need to take into consideration. They need to stop sitting around and consuming and just pondering about what they're going to do and actually start taking action. And so we're just going to take a few minutes and watch this video real quick so Rich can think up on his teaching skills, and Eric can think as well of some stuff to talk about. We're going to watch this video here just for a few short minutes.
So Jake, you're turning on a video. Al, I see a couple questions in here. As far as you say, you start with PPE and then go to WC. Okay, so I hear I hear two kind of schools of thought on that, and I think the reason why you hear that because I'm actually I just did something. There's an app out there called Trackify, and it's just the easiest way to get it set up to where you can track your view contents, your add to carts, and your purchases, and it pulls in all of your conversion data and your conversion values. And so some people tell you you got to do view content first or add to carts first, and then change it to purchases. I think that's what you're asking, Al. So if that's what you're asking, I've heard it both ways. And sorry, you guys, this is Jake actually asking me a question on the messenger, asking if the video is not working. So okay, I was thinking so because he was thinking the video was running, so that's why I kind of hopped in here. So what's going on is as far as the ads go, I've heard both things where some people just say start with purchases, some people say start with add to cart and then go to purchases.
Eric, we're watching a video here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, the video's back. Our video's over. So there, Rich.
Okay.
We had some people that had, well, I guess not some people. Rich and Eric, they couldn't see the video, so they missed out on Gary Vee, but they've seen the video before. I've made them watch it. If you're not following Gary Vee, go to YouTube right now and type in Gary Vee and subscribe. He posts about one video a day, so and they're all very motivational. They're great. So, Rich, what do you got planned for us now?
I don't know, what should we talk about?
We are your audience, Rich. Sell us on your product.
Sell you on my product.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be your product, but a product. We're salesmen here, guys. Let's face it. We sell things. We're salesmen. At the end of the day, we are salesmen. You can call yourself an e-commerce. You can call yourself an entrepreneur. You can call yourself whatever you want. You're a damn salesman. When you're trying to sell stuff on the internet, you're a salesman. And what does it take to be a good salesman? Well, you know how to sell. You got to know how to sell stuff. You got to know how to sell. And in order to sell something, you have to believe in it. I mean, you have to want to buy it. I mean, you don't have to want to buy it, but you have to look at something and say, okay, yes, I would be somebody that would purchase that. Ian, I'm still here. I don't care if anybody else is. The show will go on. Me and Rich are here. Eric bailed, I think. I haven't heard from him in a while. But,
No, I'm still here. Yeah.
you can start talking again about whatever you were talking about when the video was going on, Eric. When you were interrupting.
Yeah. Could you guys hear me both? I thought that the video wasn't going.
Both was coming on. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I bet. I was just answering some of the questions. Like I know Al was asking about the PPE. So, Trevor, that's a little high. 9 cents. That's definitely high. Doesn't mean that it wouldn't work, but that definitely is on the higher end. And yeah, no, Al, I don't know if that answered your questions. I don't know if you're still on here, but when you go to do a website conversion ad, and there's a lot of talk about the different conversion pixels, first you got to make sure you have the pixel set up right, because there's a way to set it up on your site to where you can make sure it fires correctly for the view contents, the add to cards, and the purchases, and it's got to fire for those 3 different events properly. If it's not, there's no point. At least in my mind, I might not be understanding that correctly, but I mean, Jay could chime in there. But I mean, you got to make sure that's set up properly first for that to even matter. So that's first. It doesn't matter all these advanced strategies if you don't have it set up properly. But yes, if you have it set up, then I can't tell you that it's better or not, because the people that have tested it, a lot of people that are even doing 7-8 figures, a couple of them that I've talked to, it's the same thing. It's well, I shouldn't say the same thing. It's very similar. So they haven't noticed a difference between going and starting between purchases and then starting between add to carts. But yeah,
it's all about testing, guys. And the great thing is, like Trevor's like, I'm getting cost per engagement at 9 cents. Another one of you was getting it at 3 cents. I think, was it Al? 3 cents? Yeah, Al, 2 to 3 cents. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, guys, a jewelry company is willing to pay a lot more than somebody like that's selling stuffed animals, because their markups are a lot higher, and you're gonna have to pay more for things. So that's why when people come to me all the time and they say, Jake, how much money does it take? How much money? How much should I spend on an ad? The question, that's not an answerable question, because obviously if you're trying to sell wedding bands for $5,000 or $6,000, it's going to cost you a lot more in ads to sell one wedding band. Because if it didn't, I would be in the wedding band niche, getting $3 conversions and making a killing. It relates to what your product cost is, and your profit margins and everything else is what you have to determine. What is a good price to pay for engagement? What's a good price to pay for a click? What's a good price to pay for all these things? All determined around what your niche is, what your product cost is, all this stuff. That there's a million different answers for everybody. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to that. Getting good engagement with lots of people commenting and sharing, but averaging about 2 to 5 sales per day at $9.95. Have tried scaling up with no luck. I will keep going though. Al, have you tried scaling outwards? Everybody tries to scale up. They try to bump their budgets up and up and up. Well, you may have too small of an audience. You may need to start finding other audiences to target. I see people doing that all the time. Trevor, you're probably good if Shopify helps you with your pixel. But just remember, guys, at the end of the day, it's not about how much money you spent on PPE ads or how much you spent per click. It's about how much profit did you make. That's what it's all about. It's about the profit. And yes, we do want to maximize profit, so we will do things to get cheaper engagement, cheaper clicks. But not every niche is going to have the same cost per click, cost per engagement, cost per whatever. It doesn't matter. Every situation is going to be different. So when somebody comes to me and they say, Jake, I'm paying $6 per conversion and I'm making $30 per sale, but so-and-so told me that if I pay more than $5 per conversion, that's too much, so I cut my ad. Like, why would you cut your ad when you're making $30 per sale profit? Well, because so-and-so said if it's over $5, it's too much. No, it's all about the profit. At the end of the day, if you're making money, you're making money. In some niches, it's going to cost you more per sale than others. Certain products, it's going to cost you more than others. It all comes down to making profit. That's what we care about. That's what I care about. It's profit. Do you care about profit, Rich, or do you care? What do you care about?
I'll definitely care about profit. And, with what you're saying, I mean, even if you have a product that, say you're selling it for $10 and, you may say, oh, well, I have to, get a $5 conversion. Well, there's a lot of times, when I sell something for $10, I may have, shipping charge, it's $3. And, sometimes they'll buy, 2, 3, 4 different ones. And, so instead of, having to worry about, oh, well, I spent $5 to convert something, but I just, sold something for $40. So, exactly what you're saying. I mean, it really depends on what you're selling. It depends on, things like upsells. And, especially one of the things that has helped me a lot is, I do pretty much $30 and up will get free shipping. And so I say, if it's a $10 product, I'll put right there in the ad or in the copy of the product, say, if you buy 3, you get free shipping. And then I say limit 4 per customer. And I have, lots of people will get 3 or 4, 3 to get the free shipping or 4 because that's a limit. And, it's just, because they, that free shipping is important to them. Or, oh, I want, as many of these as I can get and I'm only allowed to get 4, so I'm going to buy 4. So, I may not have to worry so much about, oh, well, I got to, keep my conversion cost at $5. As long as people are buying more than one, then it's not such a big deal.
Exactly. And Al's asking a question, what's the max I would pay for the product plus shipping if I was going to sell something for $9.95 on AliExpress? My question to you, Al, is what's that price in your head at $9.95? What's $95 there for? Because say if you want to do something free plus shipping for it's costing you $5 or $6, what's keeping you from doing free plus shipping for $15 instead of $9.95? No, you're fine now. But yes, those are kind of steep profit margins. Why, if it's selling good, why don't you try to bump it up? Try to do $11.95 or $12.95. Now, I've sold stuff at $18.95 for shipping before. Yeah, I'd raise the price. You can't get your prices any lower. They're already as low as they can go. Get them higher. You got to make a profit, or if it's not worth it. Now, sometimes when you got a new established business and you're trying to gain customers, breaking even isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes when you break even, that is a win. Trust me, Rich has been in this situation where he broke even and it was a win. He was like, I'm glad I broke even because there's days that I lost money.
Yes, definitely.
sometimes it's a win. But you have to take in consideration that your prices can only go so low. So if you're buying something that's more expensive, then you need to have higher prices because you can't live off of nothing. Do you recommend to base the shipping plus handling cost on weights? That's that's what I do. I set up my shipping rates based on weight. But there's other ways to do it as well. I believe there's an app that helps you with that. I've never got the app. There's also another app out there that limits people so they can't order 150 of whatever you're trying to buy. I believe if you're on the webinar last week, I think Dion showed us that. I know Rich would know. Rich is at every webinar. Did Dion show us? Was that last week?
Yes.
Cool about what is it called, like Min-Maxify or something?
Right. Yeah, that was it. I think that another way that you can do it is by setting the weight so that if somebody tries to order a whole bunch of them and the weight is over a certain amount that you just don't have anything for it, so that it won't come up with a shipping rate and you can't complete the order because there's not a shipping rate for it. I think that was the way he was showing us.
Sure. 100%. The reason why I'm asking is because I see them just scared on Lucky Orange. What do you mean by scared? Like, what are they scared of as far as weight? Like, why? Because you got something that weighs 100 pounds or something. They're afraid that this bracelet that you're sending is actually going to be 100 pounds. Is that what you're trying to say? Because most of the time, I don't think Shopify even really says the weight. I don't know. They might. I've never paid attention. I've never had any issues with it. They left the store because of the price. Sure, people leave the store because of the price all the time. That's a standard thing. I do it at the grocery store. If I go into the grocery store and milk costs too much, I'll go to the next store. I mean, that's how things work. People like to check prices, and if you can't get your prices any lower, don't make them any lower. Don't sell something for $5 because it sells at $5 when you're buying it for $6. That just doesn't make sense. That's awesome, Al. 3 sales equaling $49 and only spent $1.13. That's an awesome day. Purchase out of China, what would you consider your COG versus weight when coming in bulk? COG, I guess I'm not familiar with the term COG. Eric, what's the term COG mean? You read a lot of books. You're muted.
He's talking about the cost of goods.
Oh, cost of goods.
Yeah.
Cost of goods versus weight. I guess I'm still kind of confused on what he's asking.
Yes, I don't understand what you're asking either, Trenton. Because, I mean, are you asking what should your weight be versus your cost of goods? Or are you asking, is there like a rule of thumb that you should stick to? I'm not really sure. So are you asking, like, when you buy in bulk, is there like a certain amount that you should keep your cost of goods to in relation to like the retail? I'm just okay. I don't know what you're meaning here.
You may be wondering to like avoid custom charges or something like that. Like what price do you want to keep? Like when you're ordering in bulk, what do you want to stay under? Most Chinese manufacturers will actually recommend, or if you're ordering from AliExpress, you can ask them and say, what is the order I can make, and it'll still pass customs. If that's the question you're answering, your supplier will be able to tell you, and they'll usually let you know before you even ask about it. If you try to make too big of an order, they'll say, hey, look, this is going to come in 4 different packages because you ordered something that's going to get held up in customs for 2 weeks. I'm still confused on it though, Trenton. I don't see a whole lot of other questions coming in. there anybody else that wants to volunteer to come on and talk? I think Rich is done talking. He's consuming.
There's one thing I would say though, is that definitely with the products that you're selling, try to buy some for yourself so that you can check out the quality and, actually put it in your hand and say, okay, is this worth what I'm trying to sell it for? Because, you don't want to sell something to somebody and then, not even knowing what it looks like, the quality, and then, have a bunch of people complain about it because it's not what the picture looks like.
Exactly. Oh, guys, I mean, if we're out of questions, I know tonight was kind of slow. I didn't really hype up this. You're worried about cost of goods compared to getting quality. You should always make test orders before you order in bulk. Make test orders. Trenton. I would always order small quantities before you try to make a huge purchase. I know it kind of sucks sometimes waiting, but that's the best route to take. Is you always want to test the product. All right, guys. Well, I know it was kind of short tonight. I didn't push this one really hard because I had something I wanted to announce, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to keep y'all hanging just because something's kind of cool. I haven't got it finished up yet. Maybe I'll announce it next week, or maybe sometime throughout the week I'll say something about it, or just watch out for Facebook Live. I might pop on and talk to some of you guys. So with that being said, I think Rich is looking tired. Eric's looking tired. I'm looking tired. I'm ready to get home. I just got off a plane last night. Got back into Wyoming. So I've been catching up today, and I'm ready to call it a night. So I hope all of you guys have a really productive week. Keyword productive. Don't just sit around and watch this webinar or other webinars over and over and over again. Get something done. Productive. Be action takers. And we'll see you guys all next Thursday at the same time. Hopefully we'll get some more of you on here. I might promote it. I might give away an iPad or something. You never know. Well, we'll see. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here. You guys have a good night. Everybody thank Rich and Eric for coming on and talking. They didn't have to do that. They did that out of the kindness of their hearts.